Talking of which, though, just before we move on to Northern Ireland, Kate, we're with Kate Hoey. What do you make of the Prince Harry shenanigans? Because, of course, he's been in and out of court now for so long that you wonder when he has time to actually do anything else. He's been in and out trying to get royal protection for when he comes, and then he comes back without the royal protection. Then he says he wants to pay for royal protection, and then he goes back home again, and he comes back again. I mean, it's all a bit confusing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, for someone who supposedly wanted privacy to bring up his family, and,
yes.
and that's why he was leaving the United Kingdom. He has done practically anything he could to get into the front pages.
Yes.
So I fully understand why he's lost that case. I mean, why should our hardworking police officers in London, where we have so few and so we need so many, be kind of taken off and be paid privately to look after him? I just don't think that it's necessary. He's either part of the royal family, in which case he would all of that, or he's not, and he has decided that he wants to have his private life, make his own money, be independent, still keep his royal title, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm not a fan. I mean, I'm sad because I was very keen on Harry. I thought he had changed from being quite a difficult young man, as many young men go through, and then became very, very involved and did such good work with veterans and the sports organisation that he set up for disabled servicemen and women, and that then all disappeared when he met the love of his life.
Well, it's all a bit despotic, this kind of striding around the world expecting people to do things for you. As long as you pay them, the peasants can just look after me. I mean, it's really quite sort of revolting, actually.
I just think it's, his I did think at the beginning that perhaps when he first went away that, people would sort of miss him, or he would start to feel that, people really wanted him to come back and all of that. But I think that's completely gone. He's completely blown it now in terms of public opinion.
Yeah.
And so he would be much better advised to kind of keep off the media, keep off writing, and just get on with
being a father, perhaps.
Good works and looking after his children.
Yeah, you would think so. You would think so. This morning, the Just Stop Oil Brigade are out again, and the police appear to be arresting the wrong person. They've arrested a guy who was trying to stop them from demonstrating on Blackfriars Bridge, and quite heavy-handedly they've dragged away the guy who was trying to stop the Just Stop Oil people from blocking the traffic. Yeah. Seems to be the wrong way round, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, and they did that the other. I saw some horrific pictures the other week of something like that happening. I don't understand it, because as we know, they were able to lift people who were standing with, in theory, standing with silent plaques at the coronation.
Yes.
They did know that they were going to do something which would have disrupted particularly the horses, but they were arrested quite quickly. And yet these people, very small numbers now, it doesn't take many of them to actually completely slow up the traffic. That was Tower Bridge this morning, and it doesn't look like there were more than perhaps a couple of dozen.
No.
I just wonder, and that's the City of London police there too, so they're obviously taking the same, the same action as the Metropolitan Police. And then you see these pictures of the police kind of chatting away to them. And someone tweeted about, they were waiting for them to be offered a cup of tea and share a cup of tea and a coffee together.
Right.
It's really wrong, and you can't. You can't. I can understand how somebody would get out and start getting very angry.
Well, I mean, as you were saying, it's hard enough to get around London, and when you do finally get a piece of road that you can drive on, you don't really want it to be held up by these idiots.
Well, you see, I think someday somebody will, in a van or something, get really angry and drive forward fast, and somebody will get very badly hurt. And, I think the police should be able to warn these people that the next time there is a disruption like this, they are going to go in and lift them all. And
just lift them all, because you can see the police restraining this guy, using quite a lot of force, much more so, I think, than they need to do. He's clearly upset. He's a working man. He's trying to get to do his work, trying to do his job. They should be protecting him.
I do. I think it's shocking. And I don't know what... I mean, again, well, maybe that's something that... perhaps that is something that the Home Secretary's got to get involved. The problem is we've got this kind of pseudo-independence to the police now that, there's no one. You really wonder if there is anyone really, really in charge who can actually make things happen. And I would have thought that the scenes we're seeing there on Tower Bridge are just going to make people more and more angry. And as I said, something terrible will happen, and then everyone will be saying, why didn't we? Why didn't we?
Yes, exactly.
There's only about a dozen people there. You know, they could be picked up in 2 minutes.
Exactly right. And I mean, let them, if they want to march somewhere, let them march somewhere. But this is the slowing down of traffic and walking slowly in front of traffic. You know, it's a disruptive and very, very irritating practice.
Well, the irony is that if you want to have an official march, you have to go through all sorts of bureaucracy and ticking boxes and sign up to, you know, who are the stewards and have. I remember years ago I might have been involved in some kind of demonstrations. You know, that you had to do it properly. And now, of course, it looks like anyone can do anything, and the police turn their backs.
Yeah, amazing. Finally, let's just talk a little bit about Northern Ireland. What's happening there at the moment in terms of your Northern Ireland protocol?
We've just had the council elections, and like council elections everywhere, there were, you know, bad results and good results for the different parties. But the sort of takeaway from it is that the soft nationalist vote, the SDLP, has more or less folded into the Republican vote of Sinn Féin. So the Sinn Féin vote went up quite a lot. But the DUP, that's the party that's staying out of government, they didn't, you know, they maintained their vote. I think there was a huge amount of pressure on them from people like Biden and Tony Blair and Clinton, the media and everyone. And there was to try and push the DUP vote not to vote for the DUP because they wanted to get back in. They wanted them to get back into Stormont. That didn't happen. The pressure, they upheld the pressure, and we're now back to a situation where they're being quite firm that they won't go back in until there has been changes now to this what I call the framework protocol.
Yes.
Right, it's more or less the protocol with a few changes that haven't really changed the fundamental issue that Northern Ireland is separated out from the rest of the United Kingdom. We didn't get the same Brexit, and our internal trade between Great Britain and Northern Ireland is still affected. And until that gets changed, and the government accept that they're going to have to look at renegotiating something about it, and not playing into the hands of the European Union.
Yeah, well, I mean,
devolution.
No, because the European Union is still, as best we can determine, absolutely full on wanting to expand, full on wanting to bring more regulation. I think since we left, they brought in something like 25,000 new regulations, haven't they?
Yeah, and then the president of the European Commission, she seems to love the United Kingdom. She's always here. She bounced over to Northern Ireland during the Good Friday Belfast Agreement. She came to the coronation, or she came to the various things before the coronation. I think she was actually at the coronation. Yeah. They just seem to want to be here all the time, and I think again we're seeing that Rishi Sunak is playing this idea that we have to be so nice and friendly to our good friends and neighbours, but our good friends and neighbours aren't being good friends and neighbours back.
No, as it was ever thus. But listen, great to talk to you once again. Thank you, Baroness Kate Hoey, unaffiliated.